We are on YouTube. We're live. We are live streaming right now the Sportscaster Dan podcast on YouTube here on our Sportscaster Dan channel. So why am I doing this? I am doing this because, as I had promised on the previous edition of the Sportscaster Dan podcast, I would make my NFL picks. So I am going by a line, and this is a wild weekend coming up, the NFL Wildcard Weekend. This is, as I said on the previous podcast, probably my favorite weekend in sports. And why? Because it's the NFL, first of all, and there's so much at stake. So here we go. We're going to go live here, and I'm going to give you my picks. I'm going to give you the line as of the date of this podcast, which is January the 13th, Friday the 13th, huh? How about that? But I'm going to give you the line, and then I am going to attempt to make a prediction. I'm going to make two picks. I'm going to pick who I think is going to be the overall winner, and I'm also going to pick the odds as to the line. I'm not going to do over and under. I'll give you over and under, but I'm not going to give you, are they going to make over? Are they going to make under? Should I do that? I don't know. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. I've got my list here, and I'm going to mark this down, and we're going to see how accurate I am. The first game is going to be on Saturday at 4:30, and it's going to be between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. The Seahawks are the 7 seed. The 49ers are the 2 seed. And as of the moment, San Francisco is favored by 9.5 points. San Francisco is the favorite. So I am predicting that San Francisco will win the game outright. San Francisco will win the game outright, and the 49ers will cover. 49ers will cover. The over and under is 42. This game will be the under. As I get a message. I thought I put everything on silent. But anyway, San Francisco will win outright. They'll cover the 9.5 point spread. The over and under is 42. I'm going with the under. That's the first game on Saturday. It's going to be on Fox. The second game on Saturday will be on NBC with Al Michaels at the mic. No big surprise there. That was part of the deal, incidentally, when he essentially was told, we're going to go with Mike Tirico. You better find a job someplace else. And he took the Amazon job. And then not only did he take the Amazon job, but he, I think, agreed that they made some kind of a deal with NBC. If we need you, we'll call you. And they need him. They need him to do the game on Saturday night. So he's going to do the Chargers-Jaguars game. This is the AFC now. The Jags are the 4 seed. The Chargers are the 5 seed. Right now, the Chargers are 2.5 point favorites. That's right. They are 2.5 point favorites. I am picking the Jags to win. I think home field advantage is going to be big here. The Jags will win. They will cover. The Jags will cover. Right now, they're 2.5 point underdogs. The over and under is 47. I'm going with the over on this. So that's Saturday. We'll recap all this at the end of our live YouTube presentation, and also we'll make this a podcast by going to sportscasterdan.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on all of the major podcast directories. We're in all of the major podcast directories, but you can subscribe to the Sportscaster Dan newsletter by going to sportscasterdan.com or danlavallo.com. Aren't you excited about that? All right, the Sunday game. Sunday, Dolphins at Bills. The Bills are the number 2 seed. The Dolphins are the number 7 seed. Buffalo is a 13-point favorite. A 13-point favorite. Are you ready for this? First of all, the Bills will win outright. They will win outright. They will cover that 13-point spread. The over and under in that game is 43.5. It will be the over. The Bills will blow out the Dolphins. The Dolphins' bubble is about to burst. They're moving in the right direction. This is not the year. Okay. The second game, Giants and Vikings. This could be the game of the weekend. Giants and Vikings. Giants are the 6th seed. The Vikings are the number 3 seed in the NFC. 4:30 game on Fox. That first game, the Bills and Dolphins, is on CBS. That's the 1 o'clock game. 4:30 game, Giants, Vikings. Minnesota is a 3-point favorite. The Giants will win. I am picking the underdog Giants to win, and they will not cover. They'll win by less than 3. Giants will not cover. The over-under in that game is 48. I'm going with the under. Giants, Vikings. Giants will beat Minnesota in Minnesota. They almost beat Minnesota the last time. And I think they're better. They're healthier. Vikings still have issues with their offensive line. They had issues when they barely beat the Giants the last time on the line. They have even more injuries now. I'm going with the Giants. They'll win by less than 3. And the under will go into play here. The Sunday night game will be the Ravens at Bengals. The Ravens are the 6th seed. The Bengals are the 3 seed. That will be on NBC at 8:15. Cincinnati is a 9.5-point favorite. Remember, Lamar Jackson is not quarterbacking for the Ravens, and they're playing in Cincinnati. They're the defending AFC champs. I'm going with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Bengals will win. They will not cover. Again, the Bengals are 9.5-point favorites. They will not cover. The over-under in that game is 40.5. It will be the under. Under in that game, Bengals and the Ravens. And then the final game, and it's on Monday night, ABC and ESPN will televise it. They're also going to have a Manning cast. I mean, ESPN is all over this game. And why not? Dallas at Tampa Bay. The Cowboys are the 5th seed. The Buccaneers are the 4th seed. It seems no one wants to pick the Cowboys. Everybody's just throwing the Cowboys under the bus. Everybody's saying, this is Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, forget about the regular season. The Cowboys always bust in the playoffs. They're always a flop. Mike McCarthy has brought no change to the Cowboys. Well, I don't agree. The Cowboys, by the way, are 2.5-point favorites in that game. Cowboys will win. The Cowboys will cover. They will cover. And the over-under in this game is 45.5. Again, the under. So where do we stand? I'm going to give a quick recap right here, beginning with the first game, which is taking place on Saturday afternoon. Seahawks at San Francisco. San Francisco will win. That's my outright winner. They will cover the 9.5-point spread. The under and over in that game is 42. I'm picking the under. The Saturday night game, Jacksonville hosting the L.A. Chargers, and the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites. Jacksonville will win. They will cover, and the over-under here is 47. That game will hit the over. The first game on Sunday afternoon, Miami at Buffalo. CBS will televise. Buffalo a 13-point favorite. The Bills will win. The Bills will cover. The over-under in that game is 43.5. I'm picking the over. And then the game on Sunday afternoon, the Giants at Minnesota. The Vikings are 3-point favorites in that game, but I am picking the Giants to win, and they will not win by more than 3 points. The Vikings, as I said, are favorites to win by 3 points. It'll be a close game by less than 3. In other words, the Giants will win, and the over-under in that game is 48. I am picking the under in that game. The Sunday night game will pit the Bengals against the Ravens, and the Bengals are 9.5-point favorites. The Bengals will win, and they will not cover. In other words, the outcome of that game will be decided by less than 9.5 points. They will not cover, but they will win, and the over-under in that game is 40.5. I am picking the under. And then the game on Monday night will pit the Dallas Cowboys at Tampa Bay. and that's going to get huge coverage. The ratings on that game are going to go through the roof. You can bet on that. Anyway, the Cowboys will win. The Cowboys right now are 2.5-point favorites. The Cowboys will cover. The over-under in that game is 45.5. I am picking the under. And there you have it. The latest Sportscaster Dan podcast. And we went live on YouTube, on the Sportscaster Dan YouTube channel. And again, I would tell you that you can subscribe to my newsletter, sportscasterdan.com, and the Sportscaster Dan podcast. Search for that in all of the podcast directories, the Sportscaster Dan podcast. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to the Sportscaster Dan podcast.